as permitted by the law.
All right, Coyote, the Justice Ladiran, while delivering judgment in that suit, did say that with the combined provisions of international and domestic laws, Nigerians, including Sunday Igboho, had the unquestionable and inalienable fundamental right to campaign and agitate for self-determination. What you're saying now is the how it is done. So how would you describe, the agitation of Sunday Igboho and how he has gone about his fundamental human right to agitate for self-determination?
Well, it's so clear, and I don't really want us to misinterpret what the court is saying. Everyone, we have an innate right about how we want to live our life. We have an innate right to how we want to express, even who one we like to associate with. That one is a basic right, and that is one of the things that is being affirmed by the court. But what I'm saying is that, irrespective of all these fundamental rights, there is a procedure. Whatsoever that is done should be within the ambit of law. I can't say today that because I'm campaigning for self-determination, I want to stay different from to invade or to slap whatsoever to do, or to even commit another crime. And I think that is one of the things we have to know. Yes, we all have right for self-determination, but like I said, it has to be within the ambit of the law.
All right, Joshua Lobo is here with us in the studio. Joshua, can self-determination, the campaign or the demand for self-determination, actually coexist with the principles of the Nigerian Constitution that talks about the indissolubility of Nigeria?
Very well. Very well, but before I go into that, there's a fundamental aspect of the program that I was privileged to view as per zoning and correctional leadership. And we should not play with that because it's very important for answering this self-determination. When you feel that a particular zone does not have qualified persons to become a president, then you worsen or complicate the architectural structure called Nigeria. The essence of self-determination is to create identity, political culture, and I've been struggling for self-determination of Igede people. Since 2001, when I was in law school, I've been going with this muffler. It's not just honorary for a show. It's to show that even though I grew up in Edo State or Niger Delta, I'm not from there, even though we originated from there. I'm from Benue. That's what self-determination is. For you to become who you are in your country, not necessarily to become a republic within the country. We must get that very clear. Because I've listened to political analysts or even senior advocate like my mentor, Mike Osokome, say Nigeria is already divided. Fine, it may be divided in principle, but in law, Section 2, Sub 2, we talk about the national security. That's why I did my thesis, Boko Haram, threat to national security. Anybody that threatens the national security, architectural apparatus of the country will be there with. It's different from self-determination. Self-determination is like protest. Let's use that word. You feel that your people have been marginalized. You feel that the identity of your people or the representation that, okay, like now, if I'm assuming I'm an Igbo, I have in law that are Igbo. If, for instance, now they say, okay, it's our turn to become a president, that is self-determination. For others to buy into it, but not for you to become an independent entity. There is a difference between self-determination and succession. Succession means you want to become your own. If, for instance, I'm from Benue, the Senate president promised us to apartheid, and because of that, we voted him to become Senate president, and he could not use his power to create apartheid. Then how will an individual in his own capacity, what magic, what power outside the constitution, the only self-determination can aggregate the will and the support of the people that, okay, let's become an entity. And if you want to become an entity, there must be a referendum, like what the National Conference of President Goodluck Jonathan. That's why some of us are in pain, especially those of us that invested so much in APC. I can say we have failed. We criticize Jonathan to be in an autopilot. As we are now, we're in a state of nature. Don't go through the road. I travel more by road because there's a war of protesting against the system that we are fighting. If you look at the budget on the road, there's nothing on ground. I'll be throughout the vacation. I'm back going on my vacation. I'll be playing on Akure. To even see the injustice in Akure Ministry of Justice, another ball game where you can pay $400,000 to get a legal opinion. I was in Akure on Monday, since coming to Abuja for a month on Tuesday. By that Ibilo, it was blocked. By Ijembu, it was blocked. And somebody is from that state. He's my friend. Moses Okeze is from there that want to become a president. And you say that we should leave it open. Leaving it open is an invitation to anarchy. I'm from Benue, I'm from North. I've been saying that it's time for the North to be there, but what has not actually done?
Joshua,
I'm saying coming within the self-determination. This question that I'm answering is very fundamental in order to get the real meaning of self-determination. Self-determination is that you want yourself to be treated as a being. You want your God to
we've gotten that aspect. Your definition of self-determination does not necessarily mean secession.
No.
That's what you are saying. The question I want to ask you, what I want you to do is interpret, the ruling of justice and tell us, are you saying that that ruling is...
It's in tandem with the law. Because by section 10 of the 1990 Constitution, Nigeria has domesticated Africa Charter on Peoples and Human Rights. Apart from even the Universal Declaration Act that made the elaborate provision for the dignity and the respect of individual, the equality. But once what self-determination is talking about is to actualize the constitutional provision on fundamental rights from section 33 to 42. That is what self-determination can be subsumed, and that is why if you look at the head of the claim was talking about invasion into his property and that he has the right to propagate his opinion, which is the essence of having a media outfit. What he was doing, it was a protest, and that is why the security architecture overreached the ban, because there is no overt act of criminality. With respect, I was with Festus Keyamo in the defense of Asai Dokubo from Federal Court to Supreme Court. So some of us have been in real when people are really struggling. Not now that I'm not saying they are not struggling, but I'm trying to say if you look at Ralph Orozike, you can see that this government have been liberal with some of those persons.
All right. Now let's look at the concept of political self-determination, because I don't know how you want to categorize what Igboho's Yoruba nation agitation falls into. Would you describe it as a question, a matter of political self-determination? And if it is, what does that entail?
Good. For now, it's a matter of political self-determination, aggregating interest that if it's not checked, then there will be another entity. Like what happened OPC. Thank God that Kaode Ajulo is in the struggle. Yeah. When Gani Adams, people that have actually fought for the entity, the various entity, but they came in a different way, and those approach was tackled by the government because it contravenes section 2 sub 2 that talk about the indivisibility of Nigeria, and no government will close its eyes once that indivisibility is threatened by anybody. But the only way you can allow it is by the amendment of the Constitution. Now, how do you amend the Constitution? It's to create a referendum. What did these people say? What did they want? And that is why they should give kudos. Give that method to where Wike has become a symbol of new Nigeria, a symbol of true federalism, a symbol almost of what we are trying to say. If there is true fiscal federalism, a lot of agitation will not be going on. If you go to some of those states that mine of those resources, there's nothing on ground, there will always be agitation from Niger Delta.
All right. Now, let's bring in Kayode Ajolo. It's good that you mentioned that he was actively involved as a counsel for Gani Adams at the time. As you remember that case, I covered it early 2000s. Kayode, when you look at what Igboho is doing, I mean, and the reliefs he sought in court, would you classify that as political self-determination? And is that guaranteed in the 1999 Nigerian Constitution as amended?
Well, if I really get you well, because I just to know why your voice is cracking, if I really get you well, you are still asking the same question about this self-determination.
Can you hear me?
Let me. Please, can you please? Because can you ask? Can you react? Can you?
Okay, Dr. Ajolo, I'm asking you: does the Yoruba Nation agitation qualify as a political self-determination? And if it does, if it's a case of political self-determination, is that guaranteed in the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended? I hope you can hear me now.
Now, thank you very much. As it is today, everyone has an aspiration, and whatsoever the aspiration may be, as long as it's in tandem and it is in conformity with the law, is as clear, as good as it is. Now to your question, you asked about Yoruba self-determination, and I must let you know that we have several, even plethora of different sides of agitators when it comes to Yoruba self-determination. Today, I'm sure you must have heard about Baba Adebanjo, that's Ayo Adebanjo. You must have heard about Gani Adams, Armei. You must have heard about Sunday Igboho. You must have heard about Professor, the professor that is currently in United States. And you must have heard about what we are doing here. Everything is about self-determination the way it is being understood by whosoever that is doing it. Now, the question is it like the same way that the law, our constitution guarantees freedom of speech, freedom of expression. As long as you continue to speak, as long as you continue to express, that did not form foul of the law, it remains static, it remains lawful. But anytime the state is taken, that's beyond the yellow line, then that is why the issue will be. So now to your question, the Yoruba self-determination, I'm sure everybody is propagating the idea as they speak fit. So, and I believe it will not be right to put everybody in the same boat, in the same basket, and say this is self-determination. And why I say that is this: in the name of self-determination, if you choose to kill your fellow human being, you are going in for it. I will never ascribe that is self-determination. In the name of self-determination, if a crime is committed, you have to face the crime. And I believe that is the position. Every one of us, we have our aspiration. We have a way we want it to go through. But one thing is the supreme law is there. The law is there. That is why in my first sentence, I said whatsoever thing that is done perfectly, as long as it is in conformity with the law. And anytime the yellow line is crossed, that means that the law is violated, then I will not take that as self-determination.
All right. Let's talk about the response of the government to people like Sunday Igboho and Kanu. Let's look at how their response, because part of this ruling by Justice Ladiran Akintola is the fact that it was based on the fact that there was an illegal invasion into the home of Sunday Igboho, and that was why he was awarded 20 billion naira as compensation. Yeah. How should the federal government be responding to the problem of self-determinators?
Well, let me quickly raise it clear. The constitution is so clear that Nigeria, but even I think the first lines of paragraphs of Nigerian constitution talked about the indivisibility of Nigeria. That is, Nigeria remains static. And another thing there is that anything done which is outside the constitution, let me even raise it, amount to treason. It is expected that any government that what is sought need to respond to such things that is seemingly look to be unconstitutional. It is expected. But like what the judgment of the judgment you mentioned that happened in Oyo State has already cleared that the singular act, the way and manner the DSS went after Sunday Igboho is violation of his right. I agree with that, but we must be sincere with ourselves. No government. We wait, we watch, and allow many things to go wrong. But again, one thing I think we need to look for, again, is to now let the government really understand where these people are coming from. That whatsoever the government is doing should be, again, in conformity with the law. It shouldn't be that you using bazooka anti-aircraft to keep right. And I think that is where the problem is. And having said that, the way and manner the government has really gone after those that they perceive to have break the laws of the land, and I think there is supposed to be a review. I must say this, if you permit me. Last week, one of the greatest critics of the government was seen embracing the head of state, that is the president, And like I said, I call that one an amnesty have been given to him. And it's expected that the same thing should be extended to every other people, both the Sunday Igbo, both the Kano, even including the repentant Boko Haram. I want to say, though many people must have seen it in another way, but I'm seeing it as a way of reconciliation, as a way of another way of forgiveness, and as a way to bring everybody on board and to move the country forward. That is the way I interpret what happened last week when one of the opposition figure of the president and the government
Dr. Ajulo,
come together.
Dr. Ajulo, we'll have to go now. I want to say thank you so much for your time. Well, let's also state that the Attorney General of the Federation has declared his intention to challenge the decision of the High Court in Oyo State. We'll wait and see how that plays out at the end of the day, because it will help expand the frontiers of the concept of self-determination.